This is costing your children their education. Unfortunately, the curriculum in public schools requires students to meet certain expectations. Otherwise, they are not typified as normal. So this actually causes a sacrifice of creativity and freedom of thought and freedom of expression. They all have to conform to a set rules and a set demand. And those expectations are obviously not set by people who understand child development. They're set by some arbitrary developmental sort of scale that measures students' evaluation, measures their performance, measures their output. I don't think it's realistic. The problem here is that parents often feel a pressure to compare their children. We have our kids and it's almost like right out the gate. Oh, your child's teething? Mine isn't. And they're the same age. Oh, your child's walking already? My kids didn't walk until they were like 16 months old. They were happy to be carried around. They'd lift their hands in the air. Not that they weren't capable of it, they had no interest in it. They just it wasn't their thing. However, they started talking really early. I have friends whose children talk later. The problem with our society is we are a culture of comparison. We sit there, we're looking left and right. Oh, the neighbor's kid is reading. How come our child who's older can't read? Or the neighbor's kid is driving a bike, a two-wheel bike. How come our kid is still using three wheels? The fact is, if you don't explore the child at their interest point or the apex of their interest, they're never going to learn the skill. You can't compel and force certain skill on children. Unfortunately, some children will rapidly accelerate and grow and develop in certain areas and fall behind in others. And that's normal. So when you are going to be comparing your child, make sure that you're comparing the right things, or at least celebrating the things that your child's doing that other children aren't. The fact is that we just need to live in our own lane. We need to speak a message of truth to our children and empower them to understand that they are unique, quirky, different than everyone else. And if we really believe in that message and we really want to show them that we believe in it, and it's not just, do as I say, not as I do type of deal, then we need to also stop comparing. Because when we stop comparing, we evaluate the child, we affirm the child, and we validate them for who they are, not for who others think they should. Here are 3 tips on how to stop comparison culture. The first one is you look at your children and you evaluate to see where their strengths are. That becomes your script. That is what you say. But you are an artist. But you are amazing at singing. But you are an athlete. But you are so creative. But you are a comedian. You make your entire family laugh. There is that but phrase that is very important. The child might come to you and say, oh, I feel like I am, not the smartest child in the class. Or, mommy, how come I don't read? You always say, that's okay, but... and then you give them what they are strong at. So definitely the but statements or celebrating what they are good at is your first step. The second tip is to understand in a comparison of cultural comparison that there are different dynamics and variables that make up the nurture part of a child. So children are nature and nurture. Nature is what they're born with, and nurture is how we raise them. There's a lot of bias in how we raise our children because I don't know about you, but sometimes I stand there and go, oh my God, I sound just like my mom. So there is the way that we are raised, the way we were brought up, that's bringing bias into how we want to raise our children. Some of us even want our children to be better than us and have a better opportunity than us, or do things that maybe we couldn't do at their age. Please curb that. Be careful with that, okay? So your tip number 2 is your child is not you. Your child is your child. They have their own set of requirements, needs, desires, dreams. You cannot live vicariously through your child. What you can do is guide them and love them so that they can explore in a safe space. The third and final tip in order to stop a culture of comparisons is to really sit down with yourself and think, what is it that I want ultimately for my child? Do I want him to or her to be, a dreamer? Do I want, is university part of the skill set that I want? You really have to see for yourself what you're comfortable with and what's a no-go. For some families, it is a no-go to not go to university. For example, while other families are saying, you know what, you go to university, you go to college, you might not even, as long as you finish high school, I'm good. Some parents are like, it's not even about that. If you're an artist and you're 9 years old, you can start exploring art. You can write a book. We have children in our school, in our academy, that have already published. So there are parents who have to define for themselves what the ultimate goal or objective are for their children, so that there are strict boundaries and their kids know what to live up to. That's going to stop the comparison. That's going to stop that feeling of inadequacy, and it's going to help you focus more on what you want for your child and then to how to achieve it. Focus on the journey. That's the most important part. Stop looking left and right. Those kids are not your kids. Just focus on your own. And I promise you that those 3 tips, if you put them into use, are going to be practical ways to ignore comparison culture. Did you like what I had to say today? Did it resonate with you? Did you feel like I spoke to you because, you see a little bit of yourself in me? Well, if you do, please subscribe and follow my channel and contact us if you need anything at all. And we are here to kind of be the voice of reason. I'm here to answer questions, and I'm always looking for collaborations.